In this video I'm gonna show you my 3 essential tips for taking stunning landscape photos. We're gonna talk about timing, depth and composition. The tips that I'm giving in this video, you can instantly use them to make your photos a little bit better. And I have this beautiful view here and I'm using all 3 of my tips to bring this photo from ordinary to a more professional looking photo that we can share online and the people are gonna like it. So good morning ladies and gentlemen, I got my camera set up and I'm gonna try to make this very quickly because I'm against a very busy road and there are a lot of cars passing. The reason that I like this landscape here is because we got some movement in this landscape, so that's something that I really like. And the reason why I'm taking this photo is because I was a little bit too early on the shoot today, and that's my first tip for today. Plan your shoots on the best time of the day. And because the sun is still rising, we got that very beautiful soft light over this beautiful landscape. A soft light over landscape makes everything instantly better in my eyes. But I'm also still waiting for the first light of the day, so the first sunlight that will hit this beautiful landscape and light up some trees here in the landscape. We got some things going on in the landscape in front of us. I got some plants that are growing here. We got the fence here in the landscape that is a bit of an extra element in this landscape. Almost in the middle of my frame I got a house and then the trees around it. It's like I framed up this house with the trees around it, so the trees are framing this house. So we got a bunch of things to look at in this picture. So the sun is lighting up this landscape and it transforms into something else. So now I'm gonna take a few other pictures just for the sunlight, and afterwards in post-processing I'm gonna see which picture I'm gonna use, or maybe if I'm gonna use a picture from a little bit before sunrise and blend in the sunlight in this picture. And I'm photographing this picture at f10 because there's so much in this landscape. We got a little bit of foreground elements and I want a lot of this picture to be in focus so we can see a lot, to have a picture that is beautiful, sharp everywhere. And ISO 100 because we are shooting from our tripod, so there's no need to have a faster shutter speed to cover our shakiness when we are handhelding our camera. And also I'm gonna crop out the sky a little bit because we don't have any clouds in the sky today, so there's no need to show a lot of the sky. But I'm gonna wrap up here because there's so much cars here, there's so much noise and it's distracting me from talking to you and explaining everything correctly. So for the other 2 tips we're gonna go into the forest. Tip number 2 is framing your frame. And because I want to give you value in this video, I came to a forest that I also don't know. So for me it's also discovering the trees here and all the beautiful stuff here in this forest. The tips that I'm giving in this video, you can instantly use them to make your photos a little bit better than they are. I'm photographing here tree trunks in this forest, but I'm using other tree trunks to frame my frame that I'm making. So what I mean with framing the frame is, here on the left side we got this tree, and that's our left side of this frame, or frame for framing up our middle point of the composition. And also on the right we got some nice trees, and because they're a little bit darker, they're not in the sun yet, or trees in the back that are lit up by the sun, they pop out of this composition, so you know where you have to look. So by framing your frame with a natural element in your composition, it's way easier for the people that are gonna see your photos. You're leading their eye where they have to look. So it's not like this morning it was a little bit, that picture was a little bit too much, so you could look a little bit everywhere. But with this picture, it's just like, you know, have to look at the tree trunks, they're lit up And then afterwards, when you saw the lighter part in this picture, you're gonna look around in the composition and see other stuff. And that's super cool when you're doing this, framing up your frame. It's an easy method to show the people, like, you have to look at this. And also for this picture, I underexposed my picture a little bit because the sunlight is way harder than my shadows here in the forest. So that's why I'm underexposing it. I will pull out the shadows in post-processing. And also I've used a shallow depth of field with this lens, the Tamron 100 to 400. I'm at, let's say, 180 millimeters on this lens, and at this point my f number is 5.3, so that also helps the viewer look at the points that I want to have them to look. So the foreground is going to be out of focus, that's what I want, and then the middle of our picture is going to be the sharpest of all, and then after that it's going to fade out a little bit again. I'm doing everything to make it as easy as possible for the viewers. I'm leading their eye to the place that I want they're gonna look at. So go out, use it. It's instant better. If you saw the previous videos, I went with my family to Poland, and my wife also took a branch from the ground and held it in front of her cell phone and took a picture with it. So she framed the frame with a branch that was laying on the ground. So it's a little bit cheating, but it made the composition instantly a little bit better, so why not? I just came across another nice composition, and it's really good for our next tip, and that's creating depth. So first I'm going to show you a picture that maybe most people would take, and it's okay, but for me there's not enough depth. We can create more depth in this picture. So first, something like this. So this is the first picture. I like the sunlight coming through the forest here, lighting up some parts, but for us this composition isn't good enough. So we're gonna create even more depth in this picture. The difference already with the previous photo was I was standing up to take the picture. It was a little bit just out of hand, very quick, like most people would do when they're going onto a walk. They take their cell phones out, they take a picture of something that they like here in the forest. But now I went lower to the ground. I angled my camera a little bit downwards, and I'm including the ferns here in the forest like this to create a little bit more depth. So with the ferns in the foreground of this picture, and there's also a tree in front of us, a small tree without any leaves, and all those layers that create for more depth in this photo. I know it's not a spectacular, amazing photo, this one, but it's just to show you how I create depth in my photo. So it's not only with using trees on the sides that I create depth, but also foreground elements that are in a lot of times necessary in a picture to create that depth. And I already took a few different pictures to really get that depth of field in, to make this picture as beautiful as possible at this time. At the moment I'm photographing something that hasn't really have to do anything with the 3 tips for this video, but I couldn't let this one go, and I'm photographing this mushroom in front of you, and on that mushroom there is a snail on it. We have some depth in the photo, but that's because I've used a shallow depth of field, so the focus is really on this mushroom. We got on this branch here a little bit of bark that's sticking out just in front of the mushroom. So the bark is actually a little bit of a foreground element in this picture. After that bark that's a little bit out of focus, we got our mushroom. I tried to photograph different focus points. When I edit this photo, the mushroom is totally in focus with a snail on top of it, because now the snail is walking off of this mushroom. And then after the mushroom, everything is out of focus again, but you can see the colors behind you guys, or like in front of here, all the leaves, the colors, the greens, the browns. It's a typically autumn photo because we got that mushroom, we got the colors. Alright, I got one last composition for you guys to show you the depth of field and the framing around the composition. It's the last one because the sun is way too hard in this forest, because my shadows are getting too dark and the light is too light, so I have to compensate too much, and otherwise it's going to be a lot of editing work for a photo that just basic. It's not a wow photo, so that's why I'm gonna stop after this photo. So what I'm doing right here is I'm using our depth of field methods. I've a foreground element. I'm using the leaves on the ground because we are a little bit lower than our subject, so we're shooting from hill down a little bit up to our subject. So the foreground is our beautiful soft leaves. And then in front of our subject we got this tree trunk that's fallen over. That creates actually like a barrier for the darker bottom. And suddenly we got that our beautiful tree that is lit up. And we got some other tree trunks in the landscape here. This one, for example, the lit up tree, or the one besides that. That's also acting like a frame around our composition. And to get more focus on our subject, I'm photographing with f4.5, so again with the tele lens, with a shallow depth of field, to really make that tree stand out. Because in a forest, for me personally, I have a little bit more difficulty to photograph in a forest, because for me a forest is like, it's really fast cluttered for me. I'm not the best in seeing beautiful pieces in a forest that are really cool to show. Other photographers, they can take photos of a tree trunk and it looks amazing, and for me, I don't have that. And now suddenly we're talking here in front of us, or in front of the composition, there was a small part that's lit up now with the fern in it and some other branches. So I think I'm gonna also use that to get in our composition. It's a nice little extra that's lit up, and that creates a little bit more for that depth of field in this composition. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment below what you think about this video. Did you learn something or not? And YouTube think you will like this video, so go watch it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.